Kahalayim Layhawa Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakudash, double honors to the apostles of GMS, Uruwal, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect. Alright, yeah, this is just going to be a video that I'm going to bring out news and prophecies. Alright, this is from Russia Today, published June 13th. Right, it says WTO warns of a Pali crisis. Okay, it says export restrictions are pushing up food prices and could further exacerbate the global Pali crisis, World Trade Organization Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala said at the opening of the 12th WTO Ministerial Conference in Geneva on Sunday. According to the official, the world has become more complex since the last ministerial meeting back in 2017, given the lingering COVID-19 pandemic. Russia's military operation in Ukraine and the ensuing food and energy crisis. This Pali crisis is really unprecedented. And why is it unprecedented? Because first of all, right, their plans and enterprises, you know, they have their own will, you know, or not their own will, they have their own plans and their goals that they want to meet. And then you have a bunch of things that's coming in their way. Okay, this truth is a big it's a big monkey wrench. You know, that's why they're ultimately gonna, you know, they're gonna have to shut down the grid. They're gonna have to, you know, shut off the internet, whichever way they do it, whether they just shut off the internet or the whole grid goes out. But you know, you can clearly see, you know, they have gatekeepers, and you know, they have a whole disinformation, you know, campaign, right? And it's in the name of to stop so-called disinformation from so-called you know, fake news or conspiracies and whatnot. But anyway, so down here it says, you saw that in 2008-9 food crisis, just those kinds of actions did lead to price spikes. In the Food Security Declaration, our members are trying to speak about how they would try to restrain themselves from taking these kinds of actions. And this is a very important contribution that they can make to keep the price of food products from rising even higher. But anyway, the whole point of this article was we're in a time of Pali crisis. Now let's go to 2 Ezra 16 verse 17. And this is Ezra's. He says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Right? Because Ezra's, well, first of all, that proves reincarnation, because he's seen a future prophecy. He's seen everything. He's seen America, he's seen the chariots coming, he's seen World War III. So he obviously seen the vehicles, so he knows that this is not in his time. That's why he said in those days. So he knows he's going to be back here again. And he's saying, yo, how are we going to make it? Because every which way is going to be cut off, man. Right? You know, these people are bugged out on this crypto so much, man. They're talking about, oh, in Bitcoin I trust, and you know, they're holding it to such a high degree, you know, that and you know what, that just shows you that they serve mammon, right? They serve mammon because, first of all, you know, they always worshipped cash. Cash is king, right? Money makes the world go round, right? So, you know, cash is done now. Cash is being phased out. Everything is turning digital, and now they're talking, right? They're talking about this, you know, the top cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin. You know, they're saying it's it's completely bulletproof, and it's decentralized, and you know, it's secure, and you know, it protects you from inflation, and which some points are true to a certain degree. But again, this whole crypto thing is meant to desensitize you to get ready for this new age we're coming into, which is the digital realm, or the time of Revelation 13 and 16, the MOTB. That's the time we're in, right? It says, Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. These are serious things, right? The beginning of wars, you're seeing that right now, right? With the thing in Ukraine, which was really set up because why? Because America has been there since the 90s, since 91, when the Soviet Union fell, and Ukraine was so-called independent and free from communism. You had George Soros in 91. He went over there. What was he doing there? And then you had the color revolution, I think in 2005 and 6, and then that's around that time when America went over there and they set up biolabs, which is a conspiracy now, right? When you try to type that in, oh, that's fake, that's not a fact. Okay, but that's the whole reason why Putin, when he started this thing, and you notice people were saying, oh, why did you invade Russia, or why did you invade Ukraine, why are you starting a war? And he said, this is why he said this is not a war, this is a military operation. What does he mean by that? Well, they're digging out them people in them biolabs, which what were they doing in the biolabs? Working on all kinds of viruses and all kinds of various things, right? To spread and to use. Because Esau's a man of germ warfare. He's shown you that when the Native Americans were here. He practiced something called bio warfare or germ warfare. So do you think he stopped? Of course not, right? The beginning of wars. Now you're seeing a potential war between who? China and Taiwan, right? Because them Taiwanese are really, they came from China, but they declare themselves, democratic. They're not communist, so they're democratic. And that island China is very, very important because it's basically the chip hub of the world. It produces the majority of chips in your phones, computers, to all the way to missile systems and cars and whatnot. So they have a stronghold in that chip industry, which that's why America went over there. And America's backing them. But guess what? Now China's linking up with who? Russia. So you're seeing this whole geopolitical thing. It's forming. All these prophecies you're starting to see it form. And I'm really starting to see how the Europeans are going to turn on America, because Europe this winter is about to be finished, man. There's about to be no heat, no food. It's about to be a little fucking blackout, man. Okay? It's going to be a fucking blackout in Europe this winter. It's going to be cold and hungry, man, which is a recipe for all kinds of chaos and anarchy, right? So I'm seeing personally how this is all shaping up, how the Ten Horns are going to hate America, the reasons for that, and how these other nations are allying themselves in array against who? Against Babylon the Great. This is beautiful, man. And the power shall stand in fear. Because why? Because who are the powers? Right? The superpowers, man. Right? Because right now there's a top oligarch elite, they're still pulling strings, but they still got to deal with who? The angels, because they see a lot of things we don't see. They're privy to a lot of information that we're not privy to, right? So it says here, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Right, again pointing to the point or the fact of reincarnation. Verse 19, behold, famine is here, man. It's not coming, it's here. Never mind the food prices, okay? There's going to be no more food soon. People aren't self-sufficient. They're not self-sustainable. You guys can't plant. You can't plant tomatoes, man. You don't know. You know what I mean? You're just so conditioned. It's not even a factor of skill. It's a factor of mindset and conditioning, right? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But guess what? There's no balm for Babylon, right? So there's no healing remedy for Babylon. So the more, the Most High sends scourges to correct men, but there's no correction. So the scourges is just going to keep coming, and you're going to get your ass whooped. I'm talking about Babylon the Great. And all you inhabitants, all you people that worship the beast and the image and fall down and you're going to take the MOTB, accept the mark of the beast. I'm talking to you, okay? So this is a very serious time for you brothers, man, that you gotta look, you gotta set your mind, yo, you know, like whatever you gotta go through, you gotta pray to the Lord. Pray to the Lord for that you're gonna follow him through whatever he puts you through, or whatever you go through. You're gonna go through days, you know, of hunger. You may not know what that's like, and a lot of us don't know what that's like. You might know what it's like to go to bed, you know, hungry. I know what it's like to go to bed hungry and wake up, try to get food, or try to, you know, be low. But we don't really know what it's like to live that life, man. Okay, where you gotta go out and spend energy now. You gotta walk. You don't know what the hell you're gonna eat, because that's the times we're coming into. Why do you think them, you know, like them homeless people, right? Because I have a good sense of perception. I've always been perceptive. I've always listened and watched more than talk. So I've always observed that, you know, they don't really eat that much, you know, or they'll save it for right before bed, where they can eat it and then they go to bed. They don't eat throughout the day, because when you eat throughout the day, your metabolism boosts and you get hungry. You're gonna eat that sandwich, but then you're gonna be hungry about 3-4 hours later. You know, and they smoke cigarettes because that nicotine, it cuts your appetite, you know. But anyway, down here, verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, because you people are proud, and we're in the month of pride. Nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. You know, throughout all this madness, farmers are warning you, truck drivers are warning you, they're letting you know, look, these things are gonna skyrocket, and in inner city communities there's gonna be a blitzkrieg of crime. Okay, not a spike in crime. It's gonna be a blitzkrieg in crime. Okay, because listen, man, when people don't have nothing to eat, and then you still got people on Instagram and whatever else, Snapchat, flossing and doing things, man, look, you're gonna have a lot of hungry people. Okay, and there's almost no greater fuel, you know, for carnage than a hungry person and famine. All right. Verse 20, yeah, back 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Right? You still have sales and flash sales and clearances and all these different things. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Listen, we're in that time. We're not coming to that time. We're in that time. This is what we're living right now. What I'm reading, man. These living waters, these scriptures, right? Are we not in a time of confusion? Are we not in a time of famine and sword? For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Did you hear that? Now we're going to get some things. Let's get this. This is again Russia Today, June 20th. Producer prices in Germany highest since 1949. The increases are driven by soaring energy costs, according to official data. Producer price inflation in Germany rose at a record pace in May, the Federal Statistical Office said on Monday, the fastest increase since the beginning of data collection in 1949. According to data, prices ballooned 33.6% year-on-year last month, following April's 33.5% increase. And that's nothing. These are just signs. This is just showing you, look, these are the times we're coming into. This is not just a spike and then a drop. Right, there's another story I read where in the UK you have these PSW, these personal support workers, right? These you know, these nurses or whatnot. They drive to, you know, to clients' homes and whatnot, but they don't get paid for the mileage for the gas, right? So you know, you don't get paid, and the gas prices is high, man. So a lot of them are just calling in sick because they can't even afford to go into work. You know? Right? This is part of the confusion. This is part of the different things, right? This is study points that deaths, right, were caused by these lockdowns, man. Right? You just I can't read certain things, so you can read them, right? They report 170 excess deaths, which were not caused by, right, obesity, substance abuse, and other killers spiked. And we said that because people bugging out, man. People are bugging out. They can't be, you know, they don't know what to do with themselves, man. They need distraction. They need distraction. Okay, now let's go here. I'm gonna bring this out because this is, like I said, the time we're getting into, and you know, the days we're living in, right?
I already use PayPal. Other people go, what's the big deal? I already use Bitcoin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then we end up with the dollar being destroyed and a new currency being implemented, everything going to zero and starting over. That is what their plan is here. Now, for those of you who don't really understand, let me explain a little bit further. I've talked about 6G. I've talked about the World Economic Forum, how they were talking about by 2030 that your cell phones were no longer going to be in your hand. They were going to be inside of you. This has everything to do with digital currency. All of these things are going to tie together. Listen to the head of Nokia talking about 6G and how the phones by 2030 are expected to be inside of people's bodies.
You will have such a good digital twin that you'll be able to go into the metaverse, into a virtual reality world, turn a dial, pull a switch, feel around, and actually change it in the real plant.
Absolutely. And this is not far off. I mean, the physical and the digital worlds, they will grow together, and the result is exactly what you just said.
I wanted to ask when you all think we're going to move from this form factor to something that's on your face, glasses, and when computing's all on the edge.
All right, 50 seconds. Who wants to answer quickly?
I think it will go...
And these are all sheeple. These are all sheeple partaking in their own destruction. Because they think it's a next level of humankind, you know, or mankind. And it's part of Esau's, you know, part of the occult. Their next step is to, you know, that transhumanism. You know, you can look that up. That's a good topic that Esau wants to get into, that next level. Transhumanism, the next level. Basically, you know, they want that power, spiritual power, but it's in a carnal way, right? Mixing, you know, forming man and machine and AI and all these different factors. But the next phase is after 5G, right? It's 6G, right? Which I did a lesson like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They were just talking about it because they, you know, they're building it before, you know, it even comes out as news. They're already working on it, you know, and that's 6G, man. You know, it's going to show you in this video.
Well, first of all, it will definitely happen. I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
6G will liberate human potential and transform the way we live, the way we work, connecting human worlds, physical worlds with digital worlds. And that will unleash new human possibilities.
And again, the way they pull people in is that, you know, they try to push, oh, it's for the people, it's for the people. Everybody's gonna benefit, and we're all gonna, you know, this whole. Meanwhile, they're planning on killing you, man. They're talking about you're useless eaters. There's, you know what, this earth is overpopulated. We need to dwindle the population of the earth. You know, oh, you know, they have certain plans and tasks, and when things happen, they're like, oh, that's good for human depopulation.
We are proud to say that Bell Labs has actually done many pioneering innovations in the field of communications. The laser was invented here, the cellular network, the transistor, actually the basis of AI was laid here. And this proud history that has led to also Nobel Prizes and Turing Awards. And so we are already preparing for the 6G era. We actually already started with the research on 6G 2 years ago. You want to be 10 years ahead of the game before the commercial deployment. You cannot do this alone. You need the partners. We are now leading the very first flagship project for 6G, Hexa-X. If you think of what the different generations of networks enabled, 2G and 3G unleashed the potential of human mobility and connectivity. 4G unleashed the potential of information and social engagement with social media. 5G unlocked the potential of machines and sensing. And so What will 6G unleash? It will enable perfect knowledge.
And it's not a coincidence that it's 6G. And we're in that time of 6G and in the market of beasts in 666. It's not a coincidence, man. This all ties in. All right.
Of human worlds, connecting us with the digital worlds. 6G will enable holographic communication. It will be as if I'm teleported to your environment, be like working on the same design, the same object, as if we are in the same room. 6G will enable us to offload mundane tasks from humans, things that machines do better, mental tasks, quality checks, to really unleash things that humans are best at, solving creative problems, strategic thinking. With 6G terahertz, we can not only do communication, but also use it as a sensing capability and do things that, for instance, cameras cannot do. See things around the corner. If you think of the billions of devices that are going to be connected, the 6G network needs to bring reliable services, high performance, do it in a sustainable way, and then also in a secure way. We always like to anticipate future human needs, understand the real hard problems and solving them in creative and disruptive ways. Our ambitions come with real game-changing innovations that define the future of communications.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
So, and for everybody out there who's wondering, well, what does that even mean? What does it have to do with, how does that even work? Here's just a little quick snippet on blockchain and how this all is going to tie together with the mark.
Public blockchains available. There is almost always one with the feature you're looking for. You want top-notch performance in real-world situations? You can have it. You need lightning transactions to pay for a coffee in a second and not 10 minutes? You can have them. You need decentralization, where decisions and transactions are controlled by more than a handful of people? You can have it. You need an on-chain identity controlled completely by you that can never be hacked or stolen? You can have it. But finding all of these in one place is impossible, or at least it was impossible. With dual-chain network architecture, Metaverse delivers a more complete solution without compromise. Introducing a second, faster blockchain alongside Metaverse ETP. DNA will process blocks in a fraction of a second, like a transactional superhighway, meeting the base chain at set intervals to collect data. This blindingly...
All this you're seeing, everything you're seeing, man, I'm in my head, I'm just going to the scripture, man, right? So I'll start here. This is Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And that's going into, the American system of so-called democracy. You have 2 sides, and that's a how should I put it? That's like it's like a psychological thing. It's really a Masonic tactic. It's just, it seems as they're 2 opposing forces, but it's a synergy. They come to one consensus at the end of the day, and that's to push forth the agenda of the oligarchs. So, the 2. Just like in Canada, it's not called Democrats and Republicans. We have conservative and liberals, but it's the same thing, right? The 2 horns. The horn represents power, right? These are political parties or political powers, right? Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, which is what? The Roman Empire, which is America's based upon. It's an extension or the last leg of the Roman Empire, you can say. But when we talk about all the different aspects or factors that goes into law, right? It's based upon going back into the Roman way of life, right? A lot of terms, everything is in Latin, all the terminology, the legal terminology, botany, right, classifying plants and herbs, architecture, right. There's just a lot of factors. There's a lot of Edomite scholars that they've linked to that. They made that conclusion, like, oh, it was America, Rome, right? And they bring a lot of points, which is valid, because this system, the foundation of it, really goes back to the Roman Empire. Okay. It says, verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Going into what? When they were given that knowledge of creating an atomic bomb. Okay, you had the hydrogen bomb. Now it's completely different, the technology. You have hypersonic missiles and whatnot, ICBMs. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell in the earth by the means of those miracles. Now let's look up that word miracle. Let's look up that word miracle. It's lucky that was in the verse. Hold on. I think this is it. Miracle, yeah. So the miracle, the word miracle here.
Strong's G 4592. Semayon. Semayon.
Semayon, a sign mark token. Okay. So, you're like supernatural. So basically, that's this man's technology and what he's doing right now. He's bamboozling you, like all this blockchain,
fast chain,
all this amazing information, all these things, right? 6G, 5G, this is part of his miracles, and what has you people so infatuated and really worshiping this beast. Spiritually, you're on your knees and your head's on the ground, bowing, right, before this beast. That's what you're doing spiritually right now. And deceiveth, verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And that's the system, this whole American system, this way of life. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? America, it's been pretty well known that it's been the dominant power on earth, via bullying other nations and treachery and murder and just being a degenerate. But everybody knows. That's why everybody right now is like, yo, you had your time, and America's surprised because all these nations are rising up. They're rising up and they're saying, look, you had your time, man. You're not bullying us anymore. But guess what? For the American dollar to be accepted as world currency, America had to bully their way in. Because why the hell would any nation accept a fiat, a backless, a tender currency? Okay, that's not backed by anything. There's no substance. America had to bully their way in, right? If another nation has something that America wants, well, guess what? They're gonna either pay that person off who's in charge, or if that person doesn't get down with the program, they're gonna fund the coup, right? They're gonna take you over militarily, and then they're gonna what do you call it? And they've done this time and time and again, and they're gonna say, oh, it's good for those people over there. They fought for freedom. Meanwhile, they paid some certain people off to start different groups and spread literature and all these different tactics, man. Everybody knows the game now. Okay. and it's all heading down. The road is heading down to this, man. Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, so nobody's going to get away. Nobody, you know, there's not going to be a hack. There's not, look, this is it. Or, you know, it's it or nothing, right? It says, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Okay, so we don't care what you other Israelites are talking about. Whatever the hell you say the mark is, the Christianity, sleeping with a white woman, a trade embargo, whatever the hell it is. Okay, we know what this mark is. Okay, we see where the road is heading down to. You know, you have stupid Israelites that mock at the fact that, oh, you can't pay with a chip. Well, this is transferring over to every aspect of your life. It's not just financial, but yes, you will be able to pay with your chip, which you can do that now, right, through radio frequency. It's the same technology used on your phone, the near frequency, the NFC shit, near frequency. Forget the acronym, but through your phone, through Google Pay or Apple Pay, you tap through your phone. It's the same technology, but it's just in your body, and they're gonna push it on, you know, for financial reasons. You can pay for this and do this, your health care, to open in your house, to you know, open in your car, security, all this different stuff, right? Verse 18, here is wisdom. Here's the point. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So we're in that time, man. And when you look up that 666, it's Chi Psi Stigma. The last letter, stigma, the Greek. Stigma means what? Something impaled. An implant. Okay? So, back here.
Blindingly fast chain means that DNA will support powerful tools and features like digital identities, data feeds, integrated lightning channels, and decentralized exchanges, using delegated proof of stake to reward participation in network security, allowing anyone to contribute and benefit. The next generation of blockchain cannot afford to sacrifice, requiring all the tools businesses and organizations need to change the world, finally in one. The next generation arrives with deep network architecture. With all of this potential at your disposal, what will you achieve?
Right, pretty, you know, pretty simple, in a simple way, with how the blockchain, because the blockchain is what, you know, they want to, you know, show off on, that it's how these cryptocurrencies are working off. Oh, it's a blockchain, you know, it's hard to hack, there's security and all this stuff, but it's going to be you're going to be the part of the blockchain. Okay, it's going to be like in the movie The Matrix. But here's a quick video, another video.
I understand people being concerned about the gas prices, but what you really need to be concerned about is what your food pricing is about to jump to. Okay, calves and babies are just now being born. Keep that in mind. So the cost to raise them hasn't hit yet. This bale of hay last year was $4. Bag of grain last year was $6. This trunk full in here last year would have cost me $14. Today, $20 for a bale of hay, $18 for a bag of grain. I got 2 bales in here. It's $58 worth of food. Last just my goats and my horses, 2 days. That's it. Wait until the prices catch up with your slaughter market when we start rendering animals in the fall. Prepare for $17 a pound chicken, $25 a pound bacon, $30, $40 a pound beef. It is coming. It's not a joke. Please be cautious. Please prepare.
And yeah, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory, and there's really no way to prepare except for the men of the Lord. You gotta get this wisdom and knowledge and pray to the Lord and do your duty, man, as an Israelite man, first and foremost to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But as you see, she's talking about food prices, but guess what? We're talking about a time where there's not going to be any food, man. Never mind the food prices. There's a story in the book of Kings when there was a famine in Israel where the dung of a dove was sold for I forget how much silver, but for silver anyway, nonetheless. All right. Matter of fact, man, that's a that's a very good point, because you know, you're talking about food and oh, the price. Look, man, like I said, we're coming to a time of, we're coming to this is 2 Kings 6:25, and there was a great famine in Samaria. We're coming into the time of a famine. We've been reading that in the book of 2nd Ezra, right? And behold, they besieged it until an ass's head, a donkey's head, was sold for 80 pieces of silver. How much is that? That's 80 pieces of silver, right? And the 4th part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. and obviously the point is that that's how extreme it was. There's no meat on a donkey's head, man. Okay, it's all bone. All right. Verse 22, back in 2nd Ezra. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Because you're gonna have a lot of hungry people. You're gonna have people that they're gonna fend for themselves. All right. Verse 23, and the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Right? So we're really coming to that great reset. We really are. But it's not the reset that Esau anticipates, because Esau just anticipates of exterminating like 80% of you people, and then keeping the rest of you for, you know, for labor or for whatever the hell, man, for adrenochrome or whatever. But that was pretty much it. I hope you're edified. Kahalalim la Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakadash, the blindness to the apostles of GMS, Huruel, and Shalom, Kwame Shirala.